Hello, my name is Juan and I'm showing my second capstone project for data visualization of football statistics. The objectives that I put to myself in this project were connect and retrieve information from a sports statistics API. And for this one I choose this one, IPYWidgets.com. Retrieve the statistics from different teams of the most famous football leagues that I decided in this case: Argentina, Brazil, England, France, Germany, Italy, Netherlands, Portugal, and Spain. From those, develop charts to visualize different basic data and information, which in this case are total wins, losses, draws, wins, losses, draws grouped by home and away matches, goals scored and retrieved and received grouped by home and away matches, goals scored and received grouped by quarter intervals with their corresponding percentage by interval, red and yellow cards received grouped by quarter intervals with their corresponding percentage by interval. Create a selection option to choose a desired team for which check the statistics. This is mainly to add the interactivity in the work for selecting different teams. In this case, also update the figures according to the new teams selected. Well, this is the code itself. I worked with libraries like Pandas, the request information for retrieving from the API, IPYWidgets, IPython.display, and Bokeh. In this part, the first part of the code, I created the seasons, a seasons list, because the first season in the API is starting from 10,010 until the current one. This is another dictionary with the leagues and the IDs of each league according to the API IDs in the system. Then in both cases I created a drop-down option for this information with their corresponding default season. The default season in this case is 2023, and the default league will be with the ID 39, which corresponds to Premier League. Then at the end I created one more drop-down, which it will be for the team itself, where the options are empty for now, because those teams will need to be retrieved in the first part of the API call. So if we run this, you can see that the default season is, well, this is the list of seasons, 2010 until 2023, and this is the list of tuples for the leagues which with their IDs, for Bundesliga, Liga Profesional Argentina, Serie A de Brasil, La Liga Española, Ligue 1, Eredivisie, Premier League, and Serie A d'Italia, and Primera Liga, which is for Portugal. Well, this is the first function and the first part of the API call that I mentioned before, to retrieve the teams of the league selected. As you see, this is having the input of the league ID, which needs to be passed as a string. The same with the season selected. I just added that part just to make sure that it's a string. And here is the build up of the API call to send the request and get the information in a JSON format. And I created a for loop to add all the teams into a list. So if we run this, you will see that according to the default season and default team, which was 2023, and the default league, Premier League, all the teams are retrieved who participated in this year, starting from Manchester United with ID number 33, finishing with Luton with the ID 1359. Then the second part of the call, it's according to the team ID, And to build up this link, it's necessary the league ID, the season selected, as we used previously as well. And in this case, we also need to add the team ID, which also we are making sure that it's passing a string value. After building up this link, we prepare again the structure for making the request call, and the information is coming in a JSON format as well. Here we start structuring the information to show it in the way that we want. The dictionary with the wins, losses, draws. Here is building up of the angles for a pie chart that will be generated, and here is this the code for the figure itself and the format for the first figure. Then we have the second graph, for which I built the wins, losses, and draws, but grouped by home and away information. In this case, it was grouped in two different categories and with two different hierarchies, and the information was generated in this Z dictionary, and here a palette of colors were added for the different information, with red being losses, green being wins, and blue being draws. Here a little bit more about the format of the figure. Then the third graph, and the third graph will be for and against goals. The goals scored by the team and goals received by the team, which is very similar than before, because this will show the total of goals for and received, also in home and away venues. This is passed through a similar code, and the palette of colors here is just necessary to be green and red, because green will be for colors, red will be against colors, against goals. A little bit of the format, and then we pass to the fourth and fifth graph for goals in favor and against in percentages by quarter. In this case, we had to add the interval information of the matches. These intervals will be done in 15 minutes intervals, because that will be the quarters of quarter of hour, right? And well, this is the treatment for goals by interval scored, and this is goals per interval received, right? For each one, it was created a dictionary, and the information was added to the in the figure down here. It's important to show that the colors, and in this case, are will be more intense or darker according to the number and count of goals by quarter, because in this case it was calculating the percentages of goals scored by quarter according to from the total, and according to that number of percentage, the intensity of the color will be higher or lower. In this case, just red color here will be shown in different intensities for against goals, and the green color will be shown in different intensities for goals scored. Then this is the figure for 4 goals, the figure for against goals, and the 6th and 7th graphs will be for red and yellow cards, where the process was very similar with for and against goals. However, in this case, I also needed to add one more number for the triplet of the RGB color, because in this case I need to generate a yellow color, which is a combination of R and G values in the RGB code. Okay, so all the rest is pretty much very similar to the work made for and against goals. They are also divided by quarter, quarter interval, and they will have a color bar on the side to show the intensities according to the percentage number. Here I generated a list with all the figs together in order to show them in a grid plot. At the end of it, I created two functions for onChange associated with the drop-down list created at the beginning of the work in order to create that updating of the information right away after selecting a new team. So let's run this code. We can see the three drop downs here. So let's see a year, I don't know, 2021, or let's just do 2023. We have Premier League there, or let's check case area Liga Profesional Argentina, and let's select from here the team River Plate, for example, one of the biggest teams in Argentina. And just after selecting River Plate, we can see all the statistics of this team this season, where we can see hovering on the information. We can see the number of wins, number of losses, number of draws. Here is a little bit better disclosed because we are separating home and away matches. We can see that in away matches, River Plate lost some much more points than from home matches. Here also we can see for and against goals. We can see that River Plate scored a lot of goals in general, and not that many in the received part of the goals, right? Away he received the team received much more goals. Here we can see the information of the the goals scored by quarter. This information works for differentiate teams that probably starts in an intense mode and finish in a defensive mode, or vice versa, right? It's something that's very helpful for people that probably like to bet or they have that hobby. It's kind of details that sometimes help people to make decisions on betting, right? So let's say this one, as we can see, River Plate has a very intense starting where 30% of the goals, almost 30% of the goals were scored in the first two quarters, right? At the same time, they also have a very strong ending of the matches where they have scored 20% of the goals in this quarter, in the quarter of 76 minutes to 90 minutes. These two quarters here are usually in black because these are league matches, and these two quarters are mainly for cup, just for cup matches when the time needs to be extended and they are going to overtime. In this graph, we can see the against goals, and we can see that it's very correlated here because in this part of the matches, River Plate scored less goals, but also at this point River Plate received more goals. The same reflected with the yellow cards because they are in more defensive mode and probably they receive more goals when they are in defensive mode. In this quarter, for example, they received 16 yellow cards in the season, being 26.67% of the yellow cards received this season. And the same here, where we can see that they have received just red cards in this quarter and in this quarter. So yeah, that's for River Plate, but let's see if we want to change probably to another team. Let's check the big rival of River Plate, for example, Bokeh Juniors. Here, the information of Bokeh Juniors will be shown as well. We can see that the data is not that good that for River Plate in this case, but yeah, we can keep checking the same kind of information to generate our own insights to just for knowledge, or just if you have the hobby of betting, you can use this kind of information as well. So I don't know, now let's change season. Let's try season 2019, for example, with the team that I like, which is